You don't need reference check. What you need is fantastic interviewing process, and here is how you do it. I find it funny that HR manages to do 3 to 5 rounds of interviews and they still cannot decide who to hire, and they reach out for a 6th opinion. Why? That's because they cannot interview and they are looking for the wrong thing. So what is it that we should be looking for, and how can we structure our interviews so we don't need to do the reference check that is punitive to employees? The first interview is with HR, who checks for personality traits, aspiration, ambition, motivation, and the generic suitability for the job in terms of salaries, benefit, and all the other nitty-gritties of the role. The second interview is the most critical one, and you must be a highly skilled interviewer to pull this off, because what you will be looking for is pattern of behavior, not information that will form your opinion about that person. Nobody is interested in anybody's opinion. What we need is a pattern of behavior. So how can you do that? Now, this is important to note that is only from managers and above, not line employees. You don't need reference check up until supervisor positions. It's just a waste of time. Let's get started with the questions. Question number 1, how did you find these roles? So you go back to the last 5 to 6, 4 to 5 roles, and you ask for each time, how did you find that role? Because then if you have a lot of references, oh, my manager sent me there, my manager referred me, that's a good sign. You just need to make sure that it's not always the same person who is referring that person, because that is a clear red flag. Second question, you ask for specific achievements, and it's not some fluffy stuff, right? I build a team, you know. No, what is that the role wanted you to do, and how did you achieve that? Super, super important. Ask for data, ask for facts, ask for hard specifics of what that person achieved. Question number 3. What was the lowest point of that job? And here you are looking for self-awareness. Self-awareness is the #1 skills even Google is looking for during interviews. Because what you want to identify is if the person has his or her ability to self-reflect and to admit that, hey, these are the things that didn't work. I didn't have a good time when this and this happened. And you are not looking for the employee or the candidate to start bitching about their colleagues or their managers. It's all about me and my ability to reflect what went wrong or what was particularly difficult for me. Question number 4 is my favorite. Throughout your career transitions, what did you learn about your personality, strengths, and skills? Here you can deep dive in. This is my pleasure. And you can really look at the pattern if the person has evolved or still doing the same thing, because that's a red flag. And the last question that will help you is, why did you leave your previous job? And there is nothing wrong with it. Remember, do not get caught up on one answer for any of these questions, because what you want is to establish a profile, a pattern of behavior. So if the person says once out of the 5 that, hey, I didn't have a good relationship with the manager, it doesn't mean that the person is difficult. It means that that match was not matching. But if it's the answer 4 times out of 5, then there is a clear problem. So this is how you establish a candidate profile, a pattern of behavior, and this is how you look at employees and candidates, not through a random phone call to my best friend, because that's not going to screen out the person who you don't want in your organization. What you want to look for is evidence, is pattern, and based on those patterns, how many red flags and green flags you can find. And this is what you are going to present to the hiring manager. And the third and last interview, you shouldn't have more than that, is with the hiring manager. And the hiring manager checks specifically for technical skills and the person's ability to do the job. So for line employees, it's really asked to do the job. For senior leaders and management, you can ask for presentation, analyze financial data, depending on the job. And that should be it. So you have 3 interviews. The first one is with HR generic match, ambition, aspiration, motivation, and the match, salary match. The second interview is the longest one, the deepest one, looking for patterns of behavior. And then the last one with the hiring manager, checking if the person can perform the job and really testing that out. And that's there is to it. There's nothing more. Do not overcomplicate and get rid of your reference checks because they just don't do the purpose.